Happy Wednesday, everybody. Figure tonight, the new third kit has been leaked on Footy Headline, so I thought we should talk about it. I know it was released a little bit early, but finally getting around to it now. But also, there's news about Casemiro, so we could jump into that and anything else you guys want to talk about tonight. But I, being a kind of a bit of a designer, sort of in my business, and just loving this kind of stuff. And I buy a lot of gear, right? I buy a lot of shirts. So I'm definitely interested in digging into this new third kit with you guys and see what you think about it. So let's get active in the chat and, drive the conversation wherever you guys want to go after this main topic. Also, just so you guys know, I got a sick puppy in my room right here. He's just staring off to nowhere down below. And so at some point I may have to get up and let him out. He's just kind of acting odd. So I don't know if he ate something he shouldn't have eaten or something like that, but he's acting weird down here. So anyways. So with the news coming out, it figured we had to jump on and do this. But before we get too far, like as always, let's say a thank you to Caneswear. Caneswear is located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. Get all the Inter Miami gear. Get your messy gear there. Support a local business. And, if that's too far, if Davie's too far for you to drive, go to caneswear.com. All orders over $99 ship for free. Also, if you want to leave a voicemail, you could do that, 786-474-4435. All right, so let's have a little more fun. I know the last, podcast we did, there was, a lot of comments on that one. A lot of people having things to say. That drama is still ongoing. Hopefully it's resolved soon. But figured we should have a little fun and talk. Oops, wrong thing. Hang on. I just started pushing too many buttons. There we go. We should talk about the new kit. So this is from Footy Headlines. Everybody knows they're the ones that leak everything. So what are your thoughts on this kit? So I like it, I think. The more I look at it, the more it grows on me. It is basically a plain white shirt. And so, but that is kind of like what Inter Miami does. Like this jersey, I like this blue jersey, but it's a plain blue jersey, basically. So they definitely like, in general, a simplistic design. But in this design, you can see, let me see if I could zoom in a little bit in some of this. Where's my mouse? Okay. All right, let's try to get this going here. Well, it's not going to let me get over there. For some reason, I can't get over to my other screen. So we're going to be stuck on this one image. But you could see in this one image, things aren't going right tonight, that there's like these triangle type of images there, diamond type pattern or whatever. So it's a little bit interesting. And, I like the at least that it has the ribbing, I guess you might call it the black and the teal looks really nice. So overall, I think it's a pretty clean jersey. Now, I've seen some people not like it because it is basically a plain white shirt. It's got the old school Adidas logo on it. That's kind of cool. But let's see what you guys are thinking. Boss Daddy says, the more I see it, the more I like it. I think it's one of those that when we see it in person, it'll kind of jump out at you a little bit more. I really don't like that I can't zoom in. There we go. We can zoom in a little bit. We can zoom in and move around. Here we go. So you can see the, what do they call that? The trefoil. I like that. And I like what they did here with the logo. So they've got the Miami in teal. There's a teal outside. So I always thought if they were going to go with pink, they should have gone with a pink and teal. This whole Miami Vice thing, which is clearly what they're doing. It's the name of this kit. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs says, I like it. Looks nice. Revelo MR says, look. All right. Sports Short says, the kit is very interesting. Don't know how I feel about it. So what is it that you don't like about it, Sports Shorts? Is it the fact that it's kind of plain and white? So I thought they might go outside the box a little bit. Because I asked around, and some little birdies told me that they might make it more unique. So I had asked some people questions that, is it going to be similar in the same vein as the last two shirts, the last two third kits? It was, this blue and then an aqua. And I had asked if that was going to be in the same vein or if it could be something completely unique. And I got back that it was going to be unique. I guess white is unique. It's not that unique because it's white, but it's clean. It'll look good with a pair of khaki shorts, walking around. Caesar says the new kit looks too similar to our first year white kit. But this is way better. And I actually thought about wearing that one tonight. This one looks way better because the pink is a little bit brighter. And it's got the stuff on the ribbing or whatever it's called on the sleeves. So I like that. I think it looks a little bit better. One World, One Gold says she misses the script Miami on the front through, though, in Miami Heat Vice City style. All right. Well, the Aqua one had the Miami written in it. And one was also asking if it has triangles. I mean, it's like these diamond shapes that you can kind of see in there. Let's zoom in a little bit again. Zoom in. Oops, wrong one. Let's see. Sports Shorts feels like the blue and the pink is a little bit hard to see in the picture. So, I mean, keep in mind, this is just a leak. And also, whenever Footy Headlines leaks these things, he's generally, I say he, who knows who it is, leaking the replica. Those are the ones that are generally getting leaked. They're not the authentics. So that they generally leak, I mean, most of the time. So the authentic might look slightly different. The pattern might look slightly different. Might be more breathable or something like that. Like this right here is a replica that I'm wearing from last year. This and it's got Messi on the back. For those of you that thought after last show I don't like Messi, this is a Messi shirt. Revelo MR says, I hope the logo is out and the word Miami is in. I don't know what you mean. It definitely has the logo and it's our standard logo. They just played around with the colors. So I'm not sure. Mike V commenting, I hated it at first, but now I'm a buy it. And so I like to generally, wait till the third kits are released to decide what kit I'm going to buy, because I generally don't buy multiple kits in 1 year. Sometimes I have, but for the most part, I only really buy one kit a year because they're expensive. So, you got to watch your, watch your budget. These shirts are expensive. So the new shirt is the black shirt or this. And I think I would maybe lean towards buying this. I think it does look clean. Boss Daddy says, do the third kits have the star above the crest? I never paid attention on other teams. I believe it will. Here's the thing about the star. Something I learned by just goofing around when the new jersey came out, when the jersey, the black jersey came out and they had the star on it. I was looking on the MLS store website and I noticed that the replica did not have the star. Authentic had the star. So then I thought that was odd. So I did a little research and I went to say like the Los Angeles Galaxy. So I went to the Galaxy's shirts and they've got like 5 or 6 stars, right? They've won a bunch of MLS Cups. They've been around longer. And none of the replicas had the star. But the authentics all had the stars. So I would assume that the authentic third kit will have the star on it. But curious, what color will they make the star if that's the case? Will they make the star the teal color, pink color, and or they keep it that silver? I think they should play with it and change the color of it. I think it would be cool. See, here's somebody who likes it. Bangus 1864 says, "Finally, a white kit for Messi since PSG days." Now, here's I see one where you left a voicemail. We'll get to that in just a second. Here's the thing that I don't like about the third kits, and it's not this third kit. It's just Inter Miami and third kits in total. What I don't like about third kits with Inter Miami, they don't wear them. They'll wear it 1, 2 games, and that's it. I'd have to go back and really look and see how many times did they wear this blue jersey. It was only like twice, I think. The aqua jersey was kind of the same way. They wore it like maybe 3 times, I think, that one. So they don't generally wear these very often. So that's the one thing that stinks is like you go out and you buy the jersey and a lot of times when as fans we want to wear the same jersey that they're going to wear on the field, right? I don't know. Well, at least that's how I feel sometimes. If you see that they're going to wear the pink, well then hey, maybe I should wear one of my pink shirts, right? If they're going to wear black, well then maybe I should wear one of my black shirts. Now, obviously, I don't always follow that. Sometimes it's just because I want to wear one of my other shirts. I got a bunch of them. But you're only going to get a couple of times to kind of match with your team if you buy the third kit. Francisco says about the stars. Stars cost money to produce them. Reduce costs. Yeah, I mean, I guess to your point, the replicas are cheaper, so therefore no star. I guess that's kind of I guess where you would go with that, I guess. All right, let's get to One World's voicemail.
It's time for your voicemail.
Hello?
Uh-oh. Oh, no. There we go. Hang on a second. The voicemail, it's going. So just so you guys, the behind the scenes, I've got 3 screens I'm looking at. One of my screens is not cooperating. It's not working. So I don't know why. It's on, but it's locked. Like, so I can't. Okay, here we go. I just figured out how to unlock it. And then now that I've unlocked it, I can actually look at something else too. But here we go. Let's listen to One World's voicemail.
Hey, Peter and Uncle Ed and all the great fans out there. It's Italia One World, One Goal. Yeah, it's actually growing on me. I kind of like it. I actually only saw it about maybe an hour ago. And it is clean. Like, thank you, Francisco, for telling us those are like rhombus or whatever. I forgot, like, I must have been asleep in geometry class. But anyway, that shape that is in there, like all these other things, I think it's going to look so much better in person and on the players. And I know somebody else thought, well, that white is kind of like the first year white. But the first year white has like a real pale Art Deco pink, very pale pastel-y pink. This is a little bit brighter because it reflects the Vice City. I love the trifoil, which is what they call the original Adidas shape. That's in the 3 colors. That part looks sweet. I do wish they could have put like the script Miami across there, but we got to have our anchor for Royal Caribbean. I wish we could put maybe a script on the top of the back, but that's where the players' names go, so never mind. Anywho, think it's exciting. Real quick on this whole La Familia, too much drama for your mama, as Ed would say. Just real quick to point out that since they moved to the new stadium, they're all the way down on the end zone, and they don't have a full end zone now. They only have like a lower bowl. It would be cool if they could, put the signage all the way up again. And the players used to walk in from the corner and you would see them. The supporters group would see them and wave and shout their names, or they'd be seeing them getting off the bus. Now the bus goes in a parking garage, so they don't see any players arriving or approaching. None of that I could see was on TV. And then now they come out in the tunnel under a glass enclosure area from the tunnel in the very expensive club seats. Watch Peter's video if you haven't seen it, because that area is really cool. It's the money side, but it's very cool. And so these players no longer randomly see them or can even yell to them, except for if they happen to score on that corner. So I do see their point that, but I don't like the song that they chose. That was horrible. They would have been better off to just be quiet and go home. But I would have hoped this whole thing could have been resolved prior to, and had they waited one more week, they would have won and probably ran over there. Or had they opening day, had them run a lap around the field, that would have rectified everything too. But, hindsight's 2020. Love you guys. Love the show. Peace out.
All right. Thanks, One World. Yeah, as far as all the drama, I did a whole show on it, so I don't know if we need to repeat all that. You can go back and watch that. People hating on, I took a lot of strays, as One World, One Goal said in the chat, in the comments, for my stances or whatever. But as far as the players, the one thing I did notice that they have changed in the beginning of the new stadium, the benches were swapped. So, the Inter Miami bench was on the opposite side of where it was in Drive Pink. So when the players were warming up, they were warming up on the other end. They were warming up on the south end. Well, that's been changed, and I noticed that this game that it's kind of swapped back to the way it was. You've got the Inter Miami players on this side, and they're warming up. They're warming up over closer to the supporter section or in that corner, and so, there's that. Yeah, and as far as the song, that was their biggest mistake. And look, like I said on that show, is that, if all the fans want is a little clap, give it to them. That's not asking for much. However, I think this message, the way they had planned it, it's backfired on them, because the supporters clubs are now the laughing stock in all of MLS, and they're just getting hate from everywhere. So it wasn't the best planned thing, and it seemed a little over dramatic, like I mentioned in the other show, because it's just a wave, it's just a clap. But at the end of the day, like I said, if that's going to make them happy, and with all the hard work that they do to support the team, just give it to them. But anyways, we talked about that before. If at the end we want to dig a little deeper, or if some of the huge Messi fans jump in here, that's fine. We could talk about it again, but we got other stuff to talk about. We got, and I keep pushing the wrong buttons tonight. We got jersey pictures to talk about. One other thing that came out on that website, and this actually came out first, was the jacket. So the jacket going along with the shirt, and I imagine there'll probably be a hat. There's generally a hat, because I got the hat that matches this shirt for the third kit. So they'll generally have a hat, and they'll quite often will have scarf. Sometimes they'll have a scarf for the full kind of package for the third kit. And so, the jacket's kind of cool. I like it. I don't know if I'll get it, because I've already got a few Inter Miami, light jackets, but I am definitely leaning towards this. Your comment as far as putting Miami on the front, they could put Miami on the back underneath the players, but underneath the numbers. But actually, no, they won't do that, because when this is released, you know what you're going to see on the back? You're going to see new on the back, because after the World Cup, all of the jerseys are now going to have the back sponsor on it. And so those are going to be launched at the end of the World Cup. So right when the league comes back, you're going to see the black jersey, the pink jersey, and this white jersey are all going to have new on the back underneath the numbers. So you couldn't put Miami there either, and you couldn't put Royal Caribbean there either. So there's really nowhere else to do it. What I think would have been cool is, like, I like what they did with the logo as far as recolorizing it. But I think it would have been cool, like, if they simplified the logo and just put, like, the herons, just the herons there. Some teams will kind of do that. Like, I think Philly has done a jersey where they just have the snake, and that's in the middle of their jersey. So I think that would have been cool, because that would make it look kind of, it would almost match the Adidas logo, which is kind of simplified. I think a simplified badge would look pretty cool as well. But this is what we're gonna have, and so I mean, how in the chat, kind of give us your rating. Would you where would you rate it? I saw some people saying they wish this was black, but obviously you can't do that because we already have a black jersey. So white made sense, I guess. Because they've already done blue, they've already done the aqua, so I guess white made sense. Sean Callahan saying they wore something similar to this at F1 Miami, but was black. Yeah, they did. Yeah, but that was the whole F1 Audi series that they had. I watched a little bit of that race. I think I saw some other people wearing that jersey. It just didn't have the Inter Miami badge on it, and it just was like an Audi F1 type shirt. So, and some people liked it because it has the Audi. I don't have an Audi, so I don't care. I'm here for the wave. All right. EMZX6R. What can I call you? MZXR6. Just call you E. Here's your wave. Here's your wave. In the last show, in the comments, yeah. So, anyways, before we get to that, give me your rating in the chat. Well, I guess it's simple. Instead of going like 1 to 10, it's just like, are you gonna buy it, or are you gonna pass? You're gonna buy it, or you're gonna trash it. I don't know, but just let me know if you're gonna buy it. Where do you stand on this jersey? Sean saying over under, they only wear it once. I'm with you. Yeah. I think it's fair if you're a betting man to say over, because I think they wore this one twice, but I could be wrong. It may have only been once. I don't know. So I'm not 100% sure which one, but all right. So let's talk about, I put up this picture a few times over and over. Okay, here we go. Sports Shorts has 3 or 4 out of 10. So you're not really liking it that much. That's below average. One World says she'll buy it from Caneswear. I don't know if Caneswear is going to sell this one, but if they do, definitely buy it. Boss Daddy says he's going to buy it for sure. I think I'm definitely leaning towards buying it. Francisco says, my first car was a Dacia Romanian Renault ripoff. What does that mean? Does that have anything to do with Audi? Caesar is saying that he needs to see it in person before I pull the trigger on buying. EM says maybe buy the replica when it goes on sale. 7. 7's above average, so that's a good rating. Goes on sale. That means you're waiting almost a year. Or at the end of the season. To your point, I bought this one on sale. I bought this one later in the year, last year, and it went down to like $55 or something. So yeah, to your point, you could wait till the end of the year and buy it. You could wait till the end of the year. Sean is asking, is there a clean ocean jersey this year for MLS? I don't remember what time of year that happened. Was that in the middle of the summer? And if that's the case, that could be during the World Cup break. So I don't know. But generally speaking, yeah, every team in the league has the same jersey. I don't like those because, and that's not a, I don't care for those because every single team wears the same jersey. You have two versions, light and a dark, and every single team on that day wears those jerseys, and you just swap out the badge. And so I don't find it unique enough, so I just don't buy those. I don't really care for those. Boss Daddy says, my kids saw your AI pic with it on and said, oh, I want that jersey. So I guess I'm buying too. Here. Yeah, I have here, let me see if I can do this real quick. Here, let me throw this in here. I also did it. Now, AI removed the logos here, but I had it put it on me here as well. And I thought it looked pretty good. I thought that looked pretty good. It removed the Adidas logo and the Inter Miami logo, but I thought that they did, AI did pretty good with that. I'm playing around with it. Just goofing off. One World, One Goal says the graphics aren't always great for the league ones, like they clash with the crest. Peter would design them better. Well, Peter, saying Peter photoshopped himself in the jersey. Well, no, I AI'd myself into the jersey. I could have photoshopped myself, but I don't have access to Photoshop anymore. So, real quick side story. A little over a month ago, I lost my job. I was laid off. And I worked for a big corporation that merged with other corporations, and and a lot of people were laid off from my company, and so that I lost my access to Photoshop. Now I could get it back if I paid for it myself, but I haven't done that. And Sean is saying, "Aren't you the visual guy? Why are you using AI pulling your leg?" Well, there's a delay. So just for the reason I mentioned, because I just I've lost. So I've been doing the thumbnails using other kinds of just software that come with my Mac. So they're not maybe as creative. And then once in a while I'm goofing around with a little AI to make it a little easier. So since I lost Photoshop, but I appreciate the sentiment. One World saying she's sorry to hear that, but no worries. Pretty much got one. And that a company wants to hire me, so I'll be back in the game in no time. But I don't think I still won't have Photoshop because I'm going to be doing something different within the business. You couldn't have Photoshopped Messi wearing the jersey. I mean, I thought it would be cool to have me wearing the jersey. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. I mean, I'm the host of the show. I thought it'd be fun if I'm in the jersey. It doesn't always have to be Messi, does it? Does everything have to be Messi? Can't we have a little fun too? One World, One Goal says, saw good opening from MLS corporate that can be remote. You should try it for it in the future. You know what? It's funny. When I was on LinkedIn looking for stuff, there was actually a creative director role for Inter Miami. I thought about it, but I'm not driving down. I don't want to drive down to Miami every day. So, and that would require that. I'm not their black market Photoshop. I have black market Windows. Let me know if you need some help. Thanks, Sean. All right. Another thing popped up in the news today that we should probably cover. And your talk and Mr. Krabs says Casemiro is rumored to come Photoshop him in a Miami jersey. Yeah, I didn't do that. I just did me. I was just thinking about me. But Casemiro is rumored. We talked about this in a video About 2 months ago, where I was just kind of thrown. He was there was a rumor with him, and then I also threw out some other player ideas for a rumor. And so this one is sounding like now with like Tom Bogert reporting it, it's sounding like it's more and more likely to happen. Just going. There is a delay, so quite often I'll already move on to another topic, and you guys are just now chatting. So, but I'm gonna get into it. Boss Daddy says my company just bought by a larger company, and we're all waiting to hear what happening to us. So I'm in the same boat, but that's life. That's how the show goes. Yeah. So just real quick, my situation was one company bought two of its competitors. So it's three companies merging into one. So for every position, there were three people. And they bought my company, and then they minimized our technology, and I'm on the technology side, graphic technology, but technology side. So a lot of people on my side of the business, were let go. So anyways, it'll be all good. I got something lined up. I could, basically they told me that they would hire me, but I wanted to take a little more time to think about it. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs. Casemiro. I'm taking this Casemiro news with a grain of salt. Think of all the players who were rumored to come and never came. True, but this one seems a little hotter than some of those others. This one's got Tom Bogert in it. It's got I forget that guy that does the Spanish guy, Francisco. I forgot that. He's talking about it as well. So some more reputable people are talking about it. So it feels like this might be a little more, it might really happen. Kevin Gonzalez says Casemiro here would be great as long as he is content playing off of the bench. He is not going to be playing off of the bench, Kevin. He will be starting. Unfortunately, you'll see someone like Bright more than likely going to the bench or being sold. But they're not bringing in Casemiro to sit on the bench. I mean, he's going to be your Busquets replacement. So, reading some of your chats. So what do you think about Casemiro? So the question is, though, how do you make it happen? How do you make Casemiro happen? And that's what Boss Daddy's talking about here. Casemiro is coming. It's just a matter of who's leaving, Bright or Segovia. Okay, so let's think about that. So we can look at who's making what. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs saying rumor is Noah Allen is linked to a Greece club in Greece. He's fully committed to being Greek. Yeah, he's on the Greek national. He's played with the Greek national team. But okay, so let's talk about those kind of players like Noah Allen and Bright. So, in order to make Casemiro happen, we need to free up some GAM. We have I don't remember how much it is. It's like 13,000. 17,000, or I don't remember. It's a really small amount of GAM that we have available, not enough to do anything with it, right? So they need to free up some money. And selling Noah Allen, how much are we going to get for Noah Allen? Can you get $2 million for Noah Allen? I just don't know if a Greek club will spend, $2 million on him. I'm not sure. Maybe they will. Same goes for Bright. Very good player, but I could see him more in a situation like Kremoski, where he goes out on loan somewhere and then gets his opportunity that way. So I just don't know if you're going to get the money there either, because we need at least $2 million to make this happen. And I say that only because Casemiro would, generally speaking, be a designated player, but he can't be a designated player because we don't have any designated player spots, and I don't think they're going to get rid of one of those three guys. So that means he's got to have to come over here, same way Jordi Alba did, same way Rodrigo de Paul did, and come in for at least a half a season at TAM, money, and so they need money to in order to make that happen. Now and then next year you'll have to figure it out. So he signed basically a 6-month deal, and then the following year he gets converted to a designated player, and then hoping that the league is giving you a 4th designated player, or that you're going to get rid of one of the 3. All right, so let's go back to the chat. Exactly. Boss Daddy says we have to sell someone because we are broke. Yeah. And so when you sell someone, you're freeing up their cap space, which is why I was bringing up this. It frees up your cap space, but you can also take up to $3 million of that sale price and convert that to GAM. So if they sell a player for and the most a TAM player can make is like 1,800,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So under 2 million. So that's why I'm saying we got to at least get that much money. And so you got to sell a player that's going to get you that much money, unless we're selling multiple players. And I don't know if we want to do that. I don't know if we want to gut this team. So, our salary wise, I think the person that goes is Segovia. Just real quick before I go to your chats, I think Segovia is the one that there is definitely interest, and I think you could get some good money for him. And so you sell him. That also frees up a U22 spot, so you could sell him, and then sell him for minimum $2 million. You could bring in Casemiro for just under $2 million, and then you still have this $325,000. If I understand the rules correctly, you still have this $325,000. You can go after another U22 player because you can spend as much money as you want on the U22 player, and they have a smaller hit on your salary cap. Sean is mentioning Segovia wanted to leave this offseason back to Europe, didn't get a good enough offer. Bright will probably get looked at by second-tier European teams. Agreed. And I don't know if do those second-tier teams spend that kind of money? Francisco says Bertarame is the only choice, or a 4th DP surprise from MLS. Yeah, next year. You don't have to worry about that this year. You just have to do it next year, because you are going to make the same kind of deal that you did with Rodrigo de Paul, where you are not promising. You're not going to promise him that he's going to be a DP next year. You're only saying you're basically getting the Suarez deal. You're going to get under $2 million, and that's the deal, because we're not promising that you're going to be a DP next year, because that's what they did with Rodrigo de Paul. There was no official agreement that they were going to buy him, but we all know that they were going to. Peter post Emzer's comment Disney. Where? I don't see it. There was a Disney comment? Oh, here. EMs says, Inter Miami offered Disney season passes, and Casemiro said, I'm in. Him and his family love Disney. Yeah, right. That would be Orlando. I mean, obviously, we're not that far away. I go up. I was just there on Saturday. So I was in Disney on Saturday, just did a 1-day trip, and then came home Sunday for the game. So just a 1-day up and down. But I mean, that's if he was this big Disney fan, he would go to Orlando. He's not going to Orlando. But that's funny, being that I'm a Disney guy, and I'm drinking out of a Disney cup right here. Let's go back down. Sean is saying Segovia leaving would be best. Money plus frees up U22. Exactly. That's why I see it. I don't want to see him go. I think Segovia has been very good this year specific. I mean, he's been good for a while, but I mean, he's been good. And so I don't want to see Segovia go, but I think he's the one that makes sense. I saw somebody mentioning on Twitter or X that they should try and get rid of Allende, but who's going to buy Allende when he is hurt. And if you look, Allende, let's look at that. So I've got this color coded here. Pink is DP, gray is TAM, and then the teal is U22s. And Allende has signed, his contract is to 2030. So they're going to want a lot of money for him to make up for that contract, or they're just going to take a big hit. They signed him to a long contract. You might say that was a mistake because how he's been playing this year, but if it's anything like last year, he'll turn it on at the last quarter of the season. Francisco says Casemiro can't come on loan because his contract with Manchester United ends. No, he can't come on loan, but he could still do. He could still come on a small contract for 6 months. Same thing again. You know, they that's what they did with Jordi Alba. I think Bale over in LA. That's what they did with Gareth Bale. So it's a tactic that a lot of teams, including us, have used. Oh, here I was saying we had 13 or 17. Garber Bucks is only 17.3, so that's what we've got available. And the 1.8 is the max TAM. Right, there you go. Segovia is saying we could get the most. Boss Daddy is saying we can get the most for Segovia. I agree with that statement. EMZ says if Segovia performs well during the World Cup, he is gone. So to that point, regardless of the Casemiro thing, there could be a potential sale for him, no matter what, right? Based on that. Oh, he didn't make the World Cup, according to Boss Daddy. I forgot where he's from. As far as Disney, take the bankrupting Brightland to Disney. No, it's too expensive. There you go. This is how you do it. Seek 16s watching Miami FC at the same time as this stream. That's how you do it. Support local. I do want to show one image at the end of this that might piss people off, but I thought it was funny. Hey, 89 Stubbs, thank you for the super chat. Says, let's move this up a little bit. Maybe they will wear the third kit more now since they are rotating home and away jersey. If you sake Segovia, it opens the U22 spot. Yes, if you sell Segovia, it does open up. So you're thinking they might wear the third kit more because they're rotating home and away jersey. I don't think that makes a difference, to be honest, because so most years they rotate the jersey. In other words, meaning, you know, every other year you get a new jersey. Forget about the third jersey. That's special, right? But every other year you get a new jersey. I think it was last year was one of those rare occasions where we got 3 new jerseys. They did a new black and a new pink. That's very rare in MLS. It's generally you just get one new jersey. And so you rotate. It's your home or your away every other year. So I don't know if that would have any impact on them wearing it. I would like to see them wear it because, like, I like the third kits quite often more than the home kits. So I've bought both third kits, and I'm likely to buy this third kit. So I would like for them to wear it more. And I think I've decided who I'm going to put on the back of my jersey. I talk about this a lot. I think I'm going to put Frey on the back of my jersey. I think Frey has earned his place on the back of my shirt. I like supporting the local guys. However, it's not always the case. Like I said, this is a messy shirt. So I'll get that. But my problem is, and I got this messy shirt because it was on sale. That's why I got it. It came with the name on it. My situation with getting players in the back, I've done it twice with other players, and they seem to have a tendency of once I put their name on the back, they're either benched or they're sold off. Right? It happened with Campana and it happened with Fafa. So Fafa was benched, basically didn't play much, and then sold. So my worry is you spend the money and put like someone like Frey on the back of your shirt, and then he gets benched and he doesn't play anymore, and then it's like, because you want the player on the back of your shirt to be player. I don't know. And but I like that he's a local kid. I like that he's from my neighborhood, so I kind of like that. 89J Stubbs says, to be honest, we barely wear the away. That is true. We probably only wear the black kit when we're forced to. Oh, and also in that preseason game where both teams were wearing black. That was funny. All right, so we got a new kit. Casemiro might be wearing this new kit. That's all good stuff. EMZ says, I like Frey, though. If it wasn't for his injuries, he might have a chance in Europe. Yeah, that's true. 89J Stubb says, I think the pink kid has been successful, so they're milking it. I think what that is, it's just cementing your brand. I think that's all they're doing. I think the reason they wear the one color is because they're just building their brand. So that whenever you see a pink shirt, you think Inter Miami no matter what. Even though there are some other teams in Europe and things that wear pink, I think that's what this is. I think it's specifically just branding. So they want to be known as the team that wears pink. So we're going to wear pink all the time. And so I think I think it's just a branding purpose. and we've always talked about on this channel and One World is mentioning it. I always say, are we a t-shirt company or are we a soccer team, a serious football team or a t-shirt company? And it's quite often we're a t-shirt company. We're all about selling the shirts. So, and this shirt is going to sell well. Will it sell better than the pink one? No, I don't think so. But 89 doesn't like the pink jersey that was before. So the one with the collar, you didn't like that one? I like that one. I bought it. I liked it. People said it looked like a polo. It's okay. I like wearing polos. I'm an older guy. You older guys wear polos. Revelo says, seeing Mura's salary gave me a stomach ache. Mura, where's Mura? A little over $1 million. Mura's making a little over $1 million. Making more than Allende. How about that? Making more than Allende. Reguilon making 1.8. That's where when we talk about the salary. This is where I give Rodrigo de Paul a lot of. I'm not a big fan of his, and part of the reason is this. We talk about the fact that he cost us $17 million to buy him, but then on top of that, he's making close to $10 million a year salary. He is not worth that. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I just don't think he's worth that. And so, yeah, some of these salaries can definitely, they're tough, right? But then look at why we signed the academy kids. Look at the academy kids here. Planbeck, who's played well, $88,000. Shaw, $88,000. Pinter, $88,000. Abadia, $88,000. So all these academy kids, see, this is why the academy is so important to the team. You get cheap players. And then eventually, after they look good, and you want to increase their salary, you're still, bringing them only up to like here, or like Santiago Morales. He's now making 130,000, 138 really. And he had gotten a secondary contract at some point, right? So he was at one point on his academy contract, and then he got a second contract. And or like Ian Frey, he was an academy product as well, but now he's making $429,000. So he's gotten a nice bump up in his contracts. But you've got these kids that are cheap. Sean saying Those kids make more than me. Maybe I need to switch jobs. Give me 15 minutes a game, coach. That's it. Hey, professional athletes, you know what I mean? They definitely make more, but compared to most professional athletes, man, that's peanuts. That's cheap. But look, if you were a 20-year-old kid making 88,000, you'd be feeling pretty good, wouldn't you? That's not a bad starting salary just in life. Forget about for professional athletes. Professional athletes quite often get um you know, a lot more than that on their first contract. What is the first contract for NFL players? Isn't it somewhere in like 300,000 for like a rookie? I'm not sure, but I know it's a lot more. So it's these are the players, and these are the players that you want to sell because you can eventually maybe make a nice money on them, even if you sold them within the league and you get like how that standard 500,000, 150,000 in GAM, by selling it to another local team, another domestic team. It makes sense because you got them so cheap. 89J Stubb says, "What is Pinter making?" Pinter, 88,000. So NFL is 330,000. Okay, yeah, I knew it was somewhere in that. Oh no, Sean is saying it's 885,000. Okay, all right, big difference being an NFL player. NHL is 850,000. So man, these players. But still, forgetting about their professional sports, it's like, yeah, that's not a bad place to start in life. 88,000. It's not a bad starting point, right? I wasn't making 88,000 as a 20-year-old. I might have been making 20,000. So it was pretty bad. So back in the day, Rocco 200,000 World Cup winner. Yeah, 224 Rocco. So, oops, I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, I like my little spreadsheet, and so there's our spreadsheet stuff. So bringing that up basically to say we got to sell one of these players. And you know what's amazing to me though is like these two players right here, that these guys right here are still Israel Boatwright and Tyler Hall are still making over $100,000, and they never play. They came up through the academy. And I think it was Israel Boatwright that got a bad injury. I remember he was signing autographs at one of those Publix parties, and his leg was in a big cast or splint or something like that, immobilized. So I mean, I think he's fought a lot of injuries, but can you remember when you saw Israel Boatwright actually on the field, if ever? Tyler Hall, I think I may have seen him a few times throughout his time, and these guys still have, in one case, another year on their contract. I mean, this to me is insane. Now, it's not a ton of money, but still, that's crazy that these guys have been on this team for so long and never play. But they're not worth buying out their contract either, I guess. Rocco got lowballed. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right. Well, I think that basically wraps it up. We talked about Casemiro. We talked about a little bit about the supporters clubs pissing people off, pissing off the Messi people. And here's the thing, also, real quick. I'm going to show this. Some people in the chat in the last video, and I don't know if your people that were upset are going to watch this or if you turned us off, were offended that I called them Messi minions. To me, minions, I like the minions. But to show that, and somebody said, well, you're a South Florida minion. Hell yeah, I am. That's right. South Florida minion right here. So I was speaking of AI, having a little fun with it, and made me and make fun of myself. So minions, I also made this one. That's a little more offensive. But let's focus on this one. So, yeah, this is kind of who I am in that I support local and all that stuff. So I had fun with it. So if all in good fun, and if you're 89 says, I was upset, but I'm good. Just wish y'all followed him for granted, but I get it. Look, to be honest, every once in a while, I do have to lean over to Ed or my wife or something and say, we have to take a moment and appreciate what we're looking at, right? Because we sometimes take for granted that you're watching the greatest of all time, right? Out on the pitch every week in and week out. We sometimes take that for granted. So you do have to remember that. But having said that, I still stand by my original statement. It's like if it's up to the ownership to push that culture of saying thank you. And that is a big part of the culture in this country. So, a lot of teams, win, lose, or draw, do say thank you to their fans. And, I think it's good. But anyways, we're just having some fun here. Anyways. EM says, the other rumor is Scaloni is coming. Don't know about that. Yeah, we'll see. There's somebody should be coming in the summer. One World thinks it'll be Pep. I think it would be great if it was Pep, but we'll see. '89J Stubb says, I'm a Laker fan who deals with LeBron fans, so I get it. Hey, look, some of the messy fans that are not local per se, they're pretty caustic and they're a lot very trolly, and so they're not fun to have to banter with, but sometimes it's fun to poke at them. But in this channel, we like to have a little bit of fun with it, so don't take anything too seriously. Anyways, I think that's about it. I think to wrap things up, I think I'll end up getting that new jersey. I think Casemiro's coming. I'm happy for it. We'll see what happens, how they make it happen. But I think, they'll make it happen. They'll find a way. And like everybody else in the league says, MLS will allow us to find a way. I don't know. So there's that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. See you, everybody.